Hello everyone, Bridget with Altenew. I'm here to walk you through layering for the Build a Garden Sweet Lilies Stamp, Die, and Stencil set. In this set, you will receive a 6x8 stamp set, a 5-piece simple coloring stencil set, and on here now, the name of the stencil, along with the number and the Altenew insignia is shown. The back shows a list of stencils included, as well as a project you could create and supplies listed. A mini ink blending tool. For an additional purchase in the Altenew store, you can buy the Sweet Lilies add-on die set, which will cut the outline as well as the 2 bolded words. Let's have a look at the layering guide. The back shows a coordinating stencil and 2 full-size card examples inside. Here are the 2 full-sized card examples. The supplies used are listed on the back. In the center, you see the finished image, as well as the inks used to complete that image. In each of the openings of the stencil, you'll see the inks used from the list above. This helps as you go step by step if you would like to follow the layering guide. We're going to go ahead and we're going to get started with stencil 1. And we're using the upper left-hand side with Pink Pearl and Citrus Burst. I'll clean my stencil, realign, and come back with Honey Drizzle and Heartbeat on these 2 areas of the stencil. I've cleaned my stencil again, and we're doing the right-hand side of the stencil. I'm starting with a yellow flower with Citrus Burst first, then I'll use Honey Drizzle. I've taped off areas to make sure I don't go over onto another flower. I'm showing you here I'm using this big petal to align my stencil. I again will place satin masking tape in areas to make sure I don't go over onto another flower with a different color. I'm beginning with baby pink. Next, I will come in with fuchsia, and I'm adding that into areas I think would be darker. Finally, I'm coming in with magenta. So we're adding a total of 3 colors to these stencil openings. I've cleaned the stencil and we're working on the bottom flower. Again, we will use Pink, Pearl, and Heartbeat as the color combination. Once this is complete, I'll clean my stencil, and then we will move on to the bottom left of stencil 1, and we will use Pink Pearl for the top part with Heartbeat, and we'll use Citrus Burst and Honey Drizzle for the yellow flower. On stencil 2, we're going to use the left-hand side first with Citrus Burst, Honey Drizzle, Pink Pearl, and Heartbeat on those openings for that little section. Next, we will align the bigger section of stencil number 2, and we will begin to color in the petals. I've added satin masking tape in areas I think I may go over. For the pink flower, we are using baby pink, fuchsia, and magenta. These are great to work together as we can build color and depth and dimension in the petals with using 3 colors. But please feel free to use as many colors as you feel comfortable using. I've cleaned my stencil, I'm realigning, and now we'll go ahead and work on the yellow flower with Citrus Burst and use Honey Drizzle to add some depth and dimension to the petals. Now we'll go to the bottom flower and we will use Pink Pearl, and we'll bring in the Heartbeat again for that depth and definition on the petals of this bottom flower. Now we are going to go ahead and we are going to move on to stencil number 3. On the bottom flower with Pink Pearl and Heartbeat, we'll begin on the bottom this time. In the top flower, we'll use Citrus Burst and Honey Drizzle, adding depth and dimension with the darker color. The center pink flower, we will use baby pink. Then we'll come in with fuchsia and add some depth and dimension. And once we have added that, we will come in finally with magenta to add some real dark, beautiful pink color there. Now we're moving on to stencil number 4. I'm going to begin with the leaves, and that will be with Firefly. So I'm being careful to avoid the anthers on the stamens there so that I don't put green on them. Now I'm adding depth and dimension on this with Shadow Creek. I will pick up my stencil and clean it. I will realign, and that's when I'm going to come back in with Honey Drizzle on the anthers of the lilies. We will now align stencil number 5, and we're going to use Firefly for the first color of the leaves. Then we'll come back in with Shadow Creek to add our depth and dimension. Here is some amazing inspiration from our fabulous designers. To find out more about Build-A-Garden Sweet Lilies and other available products, please visit us at altenew.com.
Hey there, Lydia here. I really do hope that you've just enjoyed the video. If so, please subscribe to the Altenew YouTube channel. Also, turn on the notification bell so you can get your daily dose of crafty techniques and tutorials just like this. Thank you so much for watching. Bye-bye.